Happy Sunday. Wanted to talk to you today about decluttering your finances. This is kind of like a Sunday challenge that I wanted to present to everyone. Typically, I declutter my finances on a Saturday. I take an hour and a half, every Saturday morning to just take account of my finances and where me and my family's at. Where are our savings? What do our savings look like? What do our investments look like? And how do I update our income and expenses that we've had over the last week? And it makes it a little bit easier for me to not manage our finances on a daily basis because that can get a little bit overwhelming with everything that we have going on in life. So I like to take it on a Saturday, but today is Sunday. So I wanted to talk to you all about just taking some time out on Sunday while you're preparing for the following week, getting ready for work on Monday, getting the kids ready. You can also take time to just declutter your finances. It's just like a Sunday challenge. It's a cleaning challenge that you could do. So, I just want to ask you this. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your finances? Typically, when my clients reach out to me, they do feel overwhelmed and they're like, Annette, what can I do to get my life on track? And I say my life because your financial life impacts other areas of your life as well. It's not just where, okay, my finances are great, boom, I'm done. Or my finances are affecting this part of my life. Your finances and what your finances look like affect other areas of your life and the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you want to do. If you aren't making enough money, you may not be able to afford your bills. You may not be able to afford to eat out. You may not be able to afford to travel or to provide your children with things that they've asked for if they want to participate in a sport. So when you declutter your finances, you're able to identify where those gaps are. Do you need to earn extra income? Do you have skills where you can start a side hustle that can help you increase your income? Or do you have that knowledge or a craft that you can create that increases your income? Feeling overwhelmed can also feel like you're drowning in a sea of bills and subscriptions, and you just don't know, you're just continuing to paddle and you're not getting closer to shore. So if you take that time to declutter, you can eliminate some of that confusion when it comes to managing your bills. A big part of that is just recurring charges that we forget about, outdated insurance, or we may have services that we have that no longer fulfill the need that we had when we originally had those services. For example, I had DirecTV and I had boxes in every single room of my house. I had one in my guest room, both of my kids' room, the living room, and my bedroom. And our bill got up to $230 a month. That's really expensive when it comes to some type of entertainment. Do I really spend $230 a month on entertainment, just sitting and watching television? I have like 2 or 3 shows that I watch religiously, and then that's it. So we also had one of our children move out, and we had an empty guest room. We had an empty spare bedroom for a child moving out. We didn't use those boxes. We actually didn't even use the one that was in our bedroom. So we're like, what are we doing? So we took the time to declutter our streaming services so that we could take advantage of that extra $100. So what happened? When I ended DirecTV, we ended up going to Hulu. We got rid of all of the boxes, and lo and behold, DirecTV was like, keep the boxes, we don't need them back. So apparently they were outdated. So we kept all the boxes, ended up recycling them a little bit later, but our bill dropped from $230 a month to $80 a month. And we were able to use that extra $100 for our savings. And if it's you, you may be able to put it towards another bill. But we had a savings goal in mind. So we ended up saving money towards our future travel that we had. So again, this is the introduction to that Sunday decluttering challenge that I want you to take advantage of. It's that taking stock of your finances and setting that time aside. Put it on your calendar. Sit down with your significant other, sit down with yourself, or even your children, so that you can go through your current financial picture, what your expenses are, what your income is, so that you can declutter. And I'll tell you this, once you declutter, right now you may feel like you're drowning in those sea of bills, but once you declutter your finances, you're going to be able to make it to shore. And that's my goal of introducing this Sunday decluttering challenge for you. I want you to be able to get to shore when it comes to managing your finances. Now, there's three core tasks when it comes to decluttering your finances. And one of the biggest things that my clients struggle with are those subscriptions. Now, you may get the New York Times app on your phone so that you can play Wordle or you can do the crossword. And there's the free version, but then there's also the paid version. So what you can do with that is, some of the subscriptions, what they do is they allow you to sign up for a free trial, and you're having fun on that free trial. And then a month later, if you like the app, then they'll charge you. But then if you don't like the app, then that's just a trial period. You can end it, you don't have to pay. But what happens is that we forget to cancel that trial. And then you end up paying every single month, and that bill may be added to your cell phone bill. You end up paying every single month for something that you don't even use. So I have a tip for that. When you download an app on your phone, you can cancel that trial right away. You still can take advantage of that trial period, whether or not it's 7 days or whether or not it's 30 days. But you go ahead and cancel it so that you don't forget. It's basically, you set it and you forget it. You cancel that trial. And then if you are still interested after your trial is over, you'll know that you'll need to log in, put in your credit card information if you need to, and you want to continue that trial. But typically what happens is, yeah, it may seem like a good app that you want to purchase or get involved in that subscription when you download it, but then you'll forget. There's so many apps on our phone. There's over 100 on my phone, and I try to offload them periodically. But if you don't actively do that and you download these apps that require you to pay a fee, you're going to continue to pay an additional $3.99, $7.99, and that ends up adding up. It may not seem like a lot now, but it ends up adding up, and you're not able to accomplish your financial goals. So just be mindful of that. Again, sign up for the app, download it, go to your app store and cancel the trial. You still are able to use it throughout that trial period in the same way as if you had actually paid for the trial. Now, what you can do to identify where you have subscriptions that you're not using is you can go to your app store, go to the settings area, and then see the apps and subscriptions that you have. And then just go through and cancel those trials so that you're not using them. And you'll see that next billing cycle, you have a little bit of extra money in your pocket that you can use to set aside for those financial goals that you have. Your credit card may also be a way for you to check your credit card statement and see if there are any charges on your credit card that are in relation to subscriptions. Now, again, this isn't just apps that are on your phone. Look at those subscriptions. Do you have Disney Plus that you aren't using? Take in that subscription with Disney Plus. Are there any streaming services that you're using in those streaming services that are no longer fulfilling the need that you had when you initially enrolled in them. So, check your app, check your credit card, check your bank account. A lot of people don't log into their bank account to check this, see what those charges are that's coming directly out of your bank account. Because again, that's that cash money that's being pulled out of your account. So check that and get rid of those subscriptions. Now, the other part of that, okay, those are subscriptions, those are apps, those are streaming services. So let's talk a little bit about software and gym memberships. So, software. So, I have run out of room on my iCloud for storing my photos and videos and documents. And I keep getting a reminder. Let me take my glasses off a little bit. I keep getting a reminder from Apple that I don't have enough room in my iCloud. And if I want another terabyte of storage, I need to pay a certain amount of money. I think it's $29.99 or $39.99 for the year. But I have identified that I have other apps that I'm using to store my photos. So there's Dropbox that I don't pay for anymore, but I do have photos that are in my Dropbox. But then I also have Google Drive, where my photos are in Google Drive. I received a reminder from Google today that my storage is at 88% and that either I need to reduce the amount of data that's in my Google Drive or pay for an additional subscription. Well, I'm not doing that either. Then I have OneDrive. So I paid $1.99 a month to increase the storage on my OneDrive, but I ran out of room there too. Take a lot of videos, y'all. So with OneDrive, they're saying, okay, if you increase another terabyte, then you can have additional storage. But this is the thing, the videos that I have on my phone are also being stored on my OneDrive and my Google Drive and my iCloud. So it's like, if I paid for all of those, I'd be paying a significant amount of money, where I want my items stored on my OneDrive because they're on my computer and I can have easy access to them on my phone, on my desktop, wherever I go. If I use iCloud, I don't have that same advantage where I can pull it up on my computer. I may, but I just don't have it downloaded on my phone. I just want that easy access. But this is where I've identified where I don't need that additional subscription, but the companies are reaching out to me and saying, hey, this is an option that we have. So take stock of those software memberships where it's basically just a storage site on the cloud. The other is gym memberships. I had canceled my gym membership a while ago, but we just restarted it back. And my employer pays a portion for my gym membership. But if you're not using your gym membership, try to get rid of it. Use your outside at your home. Walk in your neighborhood if you can, and if it's safe, of course. Or if you have a treadmill at home or any type of equipment that you can use that equipment at home. If you haven't used your gym membership in the last 6 months, do you still want to continue paying for it? So consider all those other memberships that aren't subscriptions or apps that could help you save a little bit of money. So my gym membership is over $130 a month, but because my employer pays a portion, that's not what I'm paying. And I have access all day, every day to multiple services. So keep in mind that those gym memberships add up. How can you tackle the subscription and gym membership and audit where you have all that money that you have outgoing? You can create a spreadsheet or a notebook to track your subscription and costs. Excel is your best friend, and if you have it on a OneDrive or a Google Drive, you can have easy access to it. So I recommend to a lot of my clients, keep a track of your memberships on an Excel spreadsheet. You can do this very easily. There's recommended ones. You can say the date that you purchased that subscription, the name of the subscription, the terms, how long is it? Is it monthly? Do you get charged weekly? And then how much is it? Once you identify all of that, you'll see how much you're paying monthly for that subscription and how it's impacting your budget and impacting how you're achieving your savings goals, your investing goals, and just being able to afford your daily, monthly bills. So that's how you can audit it. Keep it on a spreadsheet. Be mindful of subscriptions. And again, this is part of that Sunday cleaning challenge. So you can declutter your finances. That's the first core task is your subscription audit. The next task is your debt consolidation. So, how does debt consolidation work? I'll tell you a little bit about it here. So, debt consolidation works where you look at the interest rates that you're paying for all of your bills, whether or not it's loans, whether or not it's credit card, and you simplify those payments. There's two ways you can do that. You can get a loan and pay off all of your bills, pay off all your credit card bills, any outstanding car payments, anything that you have outstanding, and you lump it all into one loan. So you're paying interest for that one loan only. You don't have all these bills that are junking up your mailbox or your email box because it can get overwhelming and feel like you're drowning. So consolidating your debt into that one payment can make it a little bit easier to manage. It just simplifies those payments. Now, I want you to be mindful that all debt consolidations aren't the same. And using like a credit repair agency, I have found with my clients that it isn't helpful. That where they say, okay, you stop making all of these payments, you pay us directly, and then we'll pay off your cards one at a time. I don't recommend that. I recommend either getting one loan and handling on your own because you can, and it's 100% free. I have templates that I provide my clients, and I'm like, you contact this agency with this letter, you replace this information with your information, and you reach out to them and you advocate for yourself. You don't need someone else to do it for you. You can do it all on your own. These templates are on the web. They're charging you a fee. Your credit is still being affected negatively if they do it for you. And I know it's easy to set it and forget it and hand it over to them to let them do it, but I'm encouraging you today to do it on your own. So you can do it. So I do encourage that. The other part of that debt consolidation is to identify your different options. So like I said, one is a debt consolidation loan. One is a debt management plan. Now you can go to a financial counselor like me to say, hey, what type of debt management plan is best for me? Do you need to go through an attorney? Can you go to a bank? Can you go to a debt management counselor? So that they will help you manage that debt. Now, what the debt management plan looks like is you can identify what your outstanding debt is, what interest rates are you paying, and how can you manage that debt? Do you pay off your debts with the lowest interest rate first? Do you pay off your highest balance first? Or do you pay off your debt with the shortest term? So say your debt is 6 months from now, you'll be done with it, or you have one that's 2 years from now. How do you want to tackle that debt? What does that look like for you? And it's all going to depend on your personal financial situation and what your goals are and how you manage that debt. The other option is the balance transfers. So a lot of my clients too have, just like, what? I got this credit card and I'm paying 24.99% interest on this credit card. But there's another one that's out there where I can transfer that debt and get a 0% interest rate for up to a year. Now, this is a good option if you just want to stop paying the interest on your current debt, because interest can add up. Just be real. Now, with this option, you have that 1 year to get that debt down as much as possible so you're paying the least amount of interest available. The disadvantage with that balance transfer is now you're opening up a new credit card that negatively affects your credit, and then you're closing out your old credit card. Now, you don't have to close it out, but typically people do end up closing out their credit card because they're saying, I'm transferring this from this credit card to another one so I can take advantage of this rate. Now, it is advantageous to keep it open because you have a credit card now with an available balance that is now zero. And now you have another credit card that has that balance on it with the 0% interest rate. Now, I want you to know that when you do this, don't stop paying on that debt, because the whole goal of you transferring that debt from one credit card to another is for you to reduce your balance and reduce the interest rate. If you wait until the last minute to start paying on that debt, your interest rate is going to be adding up again. So again, just be mindful. So when you work on decluttering your finances during task 2 with debt consolidation, the benefits of debt consolidation is you have that lower interest rate and you have simplified payments. So like I mentioned, the options are balance transfers, a debt consolidation loan, a debt management plan. Now, I have had one client who took out a home equity line of credit because she had equity available, paid it all off, and she ended up paying less for her home equity line of credit than she was for her all of the outstanding debts that she had. Now, I wanted to share a little bit with you because there is an organization called findhelp.org. And I'm going to share my screen a little bit with you so that you can see what you can find on Find Help. So if you look at here, you go to findhelp.org, and I'm going to go back to the home screen. So at Find Help, if you're struggling financially, you can go to findhelp.org to find things like housing, financial assistance. If you're looking for a job, you can find resources that are available within your community. When I'm working with all types of clients, different generations, everyone has found this very helpful. So, for example, you enter in here your zip code. So say your zip code is 33315. Let's just put that one in. You click search on Find Help, and you're able to find assistance. One of them is with money. So if you're having difficulty with managing your money, you put in your zip code, like I stated, and you go to that financial education tab on Find Help, and then you can find credit counseling, savings programs, foreclosure counseling, home buyer education. But since we're talking about credit, let's go to credit counseling and see what's available. I mentioned before that you could potentially do like a debt management plan, where this is one organization in this 3315 area code where they offer credit, debt, and financial education. It may be free, it may be, low to no cost depending on your financial situation. Some of them do it on a scale. My company, Harris Financial Coaching, is also on here. So for individuals to find out more about my services. But debt management credit counseling is here. They were last reviewed on December 20th. These are very credible organizations. We do have to provide our business information. There is the Center for Working Families and financial stability coaches through the United Way Center. And then ultimately, like I mentioned before, a debt management plan through Money Management International. You can go to their website, you can schedule time with them, and it lets you know to who they serve. This Money Management International serves anyone in need, adults, young adults, teens, and seniors. So this is a very reputable organization that you can go to, and it can help you declutter that debt that you have. So that's just one resources that I wanted to provide you with. Again, it's findhelp.org. All right, so let's get back into, the continuing to declutter your finances. So task 3. All right, task 3, insurance review. So insurance is important. You need home insurance, auto insurance, health insurance. Home insurance, why is it important? I live in Florida, had a hailstorm. We built our house in 2012 from ground up. And about 4 years into owning our home, we had a hailstorm. Who would think that there's a hailstorm in Florida? Golf ball size hail was hitting our roof. And fortunately, we had homeowners insurance that helped us cover the cost of getting a new roof. You would never think that year 4 into living in a home that you would need a new roof. But of course, living in Florida, we have hurricanes, we now have hailstorms. So that helped cover the $35,000 roof that we needed to get replaced. We only had to pay the $1,000 out of pocket for our deductible because it changes based on the type of damage there is. So home insurance is very important. Auto insurance is important. The number of uninsured drivers in Florida is substantial. So if you don't have full coverage, you may be left having to pay out of pocket for a brand new car. So it's very important to have auto insurance. Now, and then health insurance. You never know when a health event is going to come up. So if you need to use the Affordable Care Act, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever it is, or through your employer, it's important to have health insurance. I just had a surgery on one of my ears to correct my hearing, and that health insurance, it came in handy. It may not cover everything, but it is important to get that portion of your health care paid for. When you're looking at home, auto, and health insurance, you're like, Annette, how do I declutter that? I need it. I got to pay for it. The cost is the cost. But no, wait a minute, it's not. So when it comes to home insurance, it's very important for you to shop around for home insurance. There was one company that we had when we first moved into our home, and we had a lightning struck our backyard. So they didn't cover a lot of the things. The lightning struck our backyard, our electronics were damaged, there were some other things that were damaged, and that life insurance company didn't pay for it. And we were paying a significant amount of money. So because they didn't pay that, I said, you know what, let's take a look at another option. So we shopped around and found out that USAA was giving us a better rate than the company that we had locally here in Florida. So it's very important, even if you've lived in your home for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, see what else is out there to see what your options are when it comes to your finances. We ended up saving $1,000 a year for the same amount of coverage that we had with the previous company. So again, I want to emphasize that if you are switching insurance company, ensure that you maintain the same amount of coverage that you had with the previous company and compare costs. Now, you may not need that amount, but I want you to be mindful that if you go with less insurance than you actually need, that some things may not be covered. So be mindful of that. Auto insurance is just as important. I'm going to give you a tip of what I did. So I am a homebody, don't like to go anywhere. So with your auto insurance, typically they say you're going to drive between $12,000 and $15,000 12 to 15,000 miles a year, and you get charged that standard rate. Well, me, because I don't go a lot of places, I don't drive 12,000 miles a year. So I contacted my insurance company. I went on their website and I dropped that to 6,000 miles. I don't even drive 6,000 miles a year because we use our other vehicles for longer trips. Cut my insurance bill in half for that vehicle. The insurance company actually reached out to me and said, we're doing an audit, because they audit these things too, to verify that I actually only drive 6,000 miles. So I had to take a picture, send them a picture of my odometer to say, okay, this is where my current odometer is. And they continued to allow me to have the lower rate. Now, had I not responded, they would have increased my rate. And the letter did say that if you don't respond by this date, we will increase your insurance to the regular rate. But because I was able to verify that, I was able to keep that same rate of coverage. Now, health insurance, it's very important. This is a holistic thing that you need to look at when considering health insurance. If you're changing employers, what does your employer offer? Is what your employer offering and you decide to go to another employer, do they cover that same amount? Some employers cover 60% of the cost and you cover 40, some cover 70 and you pay 30. So if you decide to switch jobs, it's important to be mindful of what you're paying for health insurance. So when I say health insurance, I also want to extend that to short-term disability coverage and long-term disability coverage. Your employer, if you get sick at work, your employer is not going to pay you if you don't have short-term disability coverage. So what is short-term disability coverage? So short-term disability coverage is if you get sick and you are unable to work, your employer will cover a portion of your income. So say you make $2,000 and you get sick, $2,000 a month and you get sick, your employer will pay you $1,200 until you're able to come back to work. Now you have to not be able to work for at least 6 days is the standard, and your employer pays a portion of that for you. Now you do have to pay into that. So when you go through open enrollment, take a look at short-term disability coverage and even long-term disability coverage if you are unable to return to work after your short-term disability. Now, if they don't offer short-term disability or long-term disability, shop around. Like I said, for home insurance, auto insurance, and health insurance, shop around. Compare those quotes. Compare the level of coverage that you have with your current insurance provider and the new insurance provider. You don't want to go down in coverage. You want to maintain that same amount of coverage, because they may say, oh, instead of paying $1,000 a month, we can get you to pay $800 a month, but your coverage will be reduced. Advise them that you want to maintain the same level of coverage that you currently have. So that's why it's important to have that adequate coverage so that you can cover in the case that something does happen. So those are the three things. So recap, rewind. All right. When you declutter your finances on Sunday, you do this every Sunday, looking at debt, looking at subscriptions, looking at your insurance. You don't always have to look at the insurance, but keep that in the back of your mind. It could be one Sunday a month, taking a look at that. The challenge is 3 core tasks. Take a look at your subscription, audit those subscriptions, put them on a spreadsheet, track them. What's the cost? What's the name? What are the terms? Task 2, declutter your debt. So look at debt consolidation. How do you pay that debt? You can even use PowerPay. So PowerPay is another tool that you can use. But I've advised you on using findhelp.org. Findhelp.org has resources in your local area that can help you consolidate and reduce your debt. Task 3, review your insurance. So review your home, auto, and health insurance so that you can declutter how much you're paying in health insurance and ensure that you have the adequate coverage in the case that you need it. The next, I have a couple bonus tips too. So I want you to consider decluttering your wallet or your purse. I actually did that this morning, and I found a couple of things in my purse. So I found this card that I had did a blood drive this week. I had receipts. I had all of these receipts that were in my purse. I even had a shopping list from the past weekend. So I'm going to shred all of these. If you don't have a shredder, get a shredder. But declutter your physical wallet and purse with receipts. You also want to remove any expired coupons that you haven't used. Just get rid of all of that stuff. And remove any unnecessary cards, whether or not it's business cards or credit cards if they're expired. Declutter your physical wallet and purse. Then you want to review your budget as you're decluttering your finances. See where you can cut back on whether or not it's eating out, whether or not you can reallocate funds somewhere else. So if you reduce your budget on eating out, you may need to increase your budget for groceries. So that's a part of decluttering, identifying how you can set up a monthly budget. And you can find my link. I'll leave the link down in the chat to one that I have that's out on Etsy. I have a singles budget, but then also I have a couples budget. So take some time every Sunday to declutter your finances, see where you can cut back and reallocate those funds. Then I want you to set financial goals. So in that spreadsheet, you're going to have a budget of what you're going to spend monthly, and then you're going to be able to track what you're actually spending every single week. That's why I said do this on a Sunday. Set aside that hour of time to set those financial goals. What are your goals? Are you saving for a down payment for a house? Do you want to pay off debt, or do you want to travel? I love to travel, but what we did for 2025 is we've actually reduced our travel budget because we overspent in our travel budget for 2024. So what we're doing instead is we're going to travel to locally within the United States. And we have one big trip that we're going outside of the United States, but we're reallocating those funds towards our home improvements. We wanted to upgrade some fans. So that's one of our goals, but we also set a budget for that as well. We've already looked in advance on what we're saving, what we anticipate paying in each category of our budget. And then you want to create a financial wellness folder, those statements, insurance policies, anything important that someone may need to pick up or that you may need to pick up and use so that you can ensure your financial wellness. My final tip is automate your finances, automate your savings. Every month where you get paid, have some money go automatically into a savings account. If it's the first of the month or the 15th of the month, have that money set aside, automatically taken out of your paycheck. You can do it through your employer, or you can set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account, whether or not it's for bill payments, savings transfer, or even investment contributions. For my investments, I have a certain amount of money that goes directly from my checking account into my investment account. And I have my advisor at that institution. They manage that account for me. All right, so those are my bonus tips that I have for you outside of decluttering your finances on a Sunday. So declutter your wallet, review your budget, set financial goals, create that financial wellness folder, and automate your finances. I encourage you to share your decluttering progress with me down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others for more financial tips so that they can get the same knowledge that you got in watching this video. Like I mentioned, I will include the link to the personal and couple budgeting spreadsheet down in the link below. You can visit my website, harriswealthcoach.com, for debt calculators. I have a mortgage calculator. There's also a tax savings calculator. So check those out. Again, like I said, on harriswealthcoach.com. And if you need additional financial assistance, you know where to find me. It's harriswealthcoach.com, and you can do a free coaching consultation to see how we can work together in setting and achieving your financial goals. So that is your Sunday challenge today, to declutter your finances so that you can get prepared for 2025 and beyond. So I hope these tips were helpful for you. And I see you next time. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Happy Sunday.